Okay, so this is about web development and the languages. Basically, we discuss the web page development. So I'm Shant from IT Center, and this session I'm going to discuss introduction to web page development. Right. So first of all, so we'll have some foundation for this module. Right. So actually, you can study these things in at the computer networks module. Anyway, so what is computer network? Right. So basically, computer network means the computers or related devices are connected by communication medium so that they can communicate with each other. Right? So here we call computers or related devices. So related devices mean it may be a network printer, or it may be a smartphone, or it may be a IP phone, right? So likewise, there are some other related devices. So all those devices, right? So in network, we are called all the host. Computer is a host, device is labeled as host, right? So those devices are connected, interconnected. So how can we connect? So we can connect through a particular communication medium, right? So it may be a wired or wireless, right? So once those devices are connected, then they can communicate with each other, right? So the main purpose of computer network is resource, data, and so what you call the share resource and data. So that's the main purpose. So for example, if you have one particular network connection, internet connection, then so we may have say 10 computers, right? So if you want to access internet uh, separately, then we should have a 10 dedicated connections, right? So instead of that, what you can do, so we can connect those 10 computers and create a computer network. Then the network connection, internet connection can be shared over the network, right? So in that case, we share the resource. So if you have a printer, we can share that printer among the 10 computers, right? Among the computer network, right? Similarly, we can share the data through the computers which are connected to the network, right? So the main purpose of computer network is sharing resources and data, right? Okay, so this is one particular layout for the computer network. So here you can see, here we have one particular internet connection, right? And that connection can be shared by these devices, right? So there are a number of PCs and laptops, printers, and we have a server, right? And we have some wireless devices, right? So all those devices are connected as a one particular network, right? So that they can communicate with each other, right? So that's the purpose of computer network. So you can study these things at the computer networks session, right? Okay, so in computer network, so there's a famous basic architecture we call that is client server architecture, right? So in client server architecture, we have two types of computers, right? One is called client, the other one is called server, right? So this is a layout. So we have a server computer as well as the client computers. So all those are connected, right? So in client computers, right, or the client requests services from the server, right? So client can request maybe a web page, or it may be a data, or it may be a file, right? So those are requests by the client, right? Here you can see client request a web page, right? So usually web pages are stored in a web server, right? So client can request web page from the web server, right? So server can respond to the client response, right? So we call always response or serve. Server can serve, right? So server can what you call provide web pages depending on the client request, right? It may be a file or it may be a data, right? So client always request, server serve or provide the response to the client request, right? So the next one is the protocol. So I think some of you study these things. So what's meant by protocol? Yes, someone protocol. Still, some students are connecting, so that's I just wait. Let's discuss these things. Right? So, as you know, what is meant by protocol? Yes, I think all of you can hear me. No? So, if you can't, what you call, uh, just provide the answer to the voice, so you can just send me a message, right? Okay, what is protocol? So, just think about. Yes, what is meant by protocol? Can you hear me? Yes or no? I think you can hear me, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's have so yeah. Okay. The protocol means assume now I want to send a letter through the post mail system, right? So I want to send a letter through the post mail system, right? So what I have to do, right? So I have to what you call send the message to the I have to write the letter, right? And put it to the envelope, right? And so there actually that is rule, right? So in right hand bottom corner, so I have to write the address of receiver, right? And usually in left hand bottom corner, we have to write the address of sender. So here this is the sender address, this is the receiver address, and here we have to paste the stamp. And usually, so if it is an official letter, here we can write the what you call subject of that letter, right? So this is the rule. This is rule, right? So here we have a set of rules actually, right? The receive address should be there, right? Send address should be here, and the stamp should be raised. And if it is official letter, that basically we call that topic should be the title should be there, right? So those are called set of rules. So we should call those are rules, set of rules, right? So here, once if I want to send the letter properly, right, I have to follow these rules, right? In other words, these rules are defined or these rules are established to successful communication, post-mail communication. So similarly, in a network, in computer network, so if you want to do particular thing, if you want to do particular thing, so for example, I want to send file from one my computer to the another computer, which are connected as into a same network. So there are set of roles which are defined to perform that particular task, right? The task is sending the file from one computer to another computer. So uh, the set of protocols or the set of rules which are defined to perform particular task or specific task defined as protocol, right? Actually, earlier I explained the protocol for sending letters to a post mail system, right? So in here, so we call a special set of rules that specify interaction between the communication entity, or we call a set of rules defined to perform specific tasks. So, for example, uh, there are a number of protocols. So there's a protocol called HTTP. We call hypertext transfer protocol, right? So this is defined how distributing message are formatted and transmitted, right? So if you want to transmit particular message from one computer to another computer through a network, so there is a protocol called HTTP which define how that message should be formatted and transmitted, right? So postmail system, as I explained earlier, so our what you call envelope should be formatted accordingly, right? So basically here we call set of rules for transferring web pages, right? So if you want to send web page from one computer to another computer, basically say server to client, then that protocol or the set of rules that we have to follow called HTTP protocol, right? So if you want to send a mail, email, there's a protocol called SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So if you want to transfer file, there's a protocol called FTP, File Transfer Protocol. Likewise, there are a number of protocols, right? Again, you can study these things at the computer network session, right? And what is we know what is network? So what is the internet? So how can we define the term called internet? Yes, internet. By the way, can you put the thumb or the raise your hand? Those who have follow ICT as subject for the O level? Nobody. Can you raise your hand? Just put the symbol. Ah, there are a number of students. No? Ah, means those are 23. Ah, most of students follow the O level ICT. That's better, right? I think it may be a single or English medium, right? Doesn't matter, right? And that means you know the basics, right? Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Okay. So what is the internet? You know what is internet? Internet means the network of networks. So we have some private networks, right? As well as say it may be an educational network. So if you take a collection of all the network as a one particular group, right? So if you consider all the network in the world and we create one particular network that is labeled as the internet. So visually, internet means the network of networks, right? So it may be consist with private network, public network, and academic networks. So the global, what you call government networks, right? Likewise, this is Google, some kind of a global scope, right? So all the network which are in the world, right? So this is called global system of interconnected computer networks, right? So here there should be some kind of a standard, right? So otherwise, they will follow the if you take one particular network, they will follow a set of rules, right? Which are different from another network. So we can't communicate successfully, right? So like we use say a single language to communicate, and some people use Tamil, some are use English, right? So there should be a what you call common or what you call set of rules to communicate our ideas, or we call common channel, right? So likewise in here, there is a standard, right? We call that is TCP/IP method, or we call channel, right? So that is called Internet Protocol Short, right? So they use some kind of a common rule set to communicate between network and devices, right? TCP/IP, right? So now that's about the computer networks. Now I'll move to the our topic, that is web page construction or web page development or website development. So what is website? So basically, website is a collection of related web pages. So in a one particular, if you consider one particular website, right? So all the files or all the web pages are related to uh, one to another, right? So within a one particular network, we cannot have a unrelated web page to that particular website, right? Likewise, website is a collection of related web pages, right? Website is collection of related web pages. So usually we will have a index page, or we call home page. So that is the web first page of the website. So once if you browse the website, so we have a home page. Should have a home page or an index page. And so web pages are individual web documents, right? So like this. So this is the IT center website, right? So there are a number of websites in the world, right? So usually web pages is a document which is commonly written in markup language. Basically, we call hypertext markup language, right? So web page is a document written in hypertext markup language, or in short form, we call HTML, right? Hypertext markup language, which contains text, audio, video, and link to the another website. So the resources we call hyperlinks, right? So all those things maybe are there, right? So this is accessible to the network or internet, right? So how can we access? We have to use application called browser, web browser, right? So through the web browser, right? So by using the web browser through the network or the internet, we can access the web page or the website, right? So website or web page is accessed by entering a URL, or we call address of the website, right? So URL is the address of the World Wide Web page, right? Basically, there's a particular format. So we'll discuss that format, right? So now we know what is HTML. HTML is hypertext markup language, right? So this is a particular notation for describing a structure of the web page, right? And by using this, we can have some kind of a formatting, right? So let's see how to do this, right? As I said earlier, what is URL? URL means we call it Uniform Resource Locator, right? So web address or URL is a reference to the web resource, right? So there should be an address or there should be a reference to the web page. Web page is we call resource, right? So which will specify the location on the computer network and mechanism for retrieving it. That means, so if you take particular URL, right, which will explain the location of the web page and how to access it. So for example, so this is a typical URL format, right? So this is actually a home page of our university web page or website, right? This is the actual home page. So here, so this is the URL which consists of, we call this is a protocol, right? So protocol is used to how to access this. Here we use HTTPS secure protocol, right? And so this is called a host name. Host name means where or the location which consists or which contain this website. Actually, here this is the web server which is used to host this website, or this website is hosting this particular location or web server, right? And this is the resource. That is the resource name, file name, right? So this is the typical format: protocol, host name, and the file name, right? So next one is World Wide Web. Okay, as you know, what is World Wide Web? World Wide Web. What is the difference between just website or without www and with the www? What is the difference? Oh, what is World Wide Web? Sometimes you may have seen some websites say just say HTTPS, say pdn.ac.lk. And here we call www.pdn.ac.lk. So what is the difference? Yes, World Wide Web. So let's see. First of all, what is the World Wide Web or www? Actually, World Wide Web means a particular service of internet, right? So in internet, there are a number of services. This is one of them, right? So actually, this is an information space, right? So this is some kind of an information space, right, which consists of electronic document, or we call web page, and other web resources. Other web resources means it may be a media file, or it may be audio file, video file, something like that, right? So all the resources are identified by the its or their URLs, right? So through the web browser, we can access those resources, right? So we have to use the web browser, right? So basically, WW is services of one of the service provided by the internet, right? Okay. Then how this web works, right? So usually we use that client server architecture. You know, in client side, we have to have a web browser. Through the web browser, we can access the website. So websites are located or hosting in web server, right? So there are a number of web servers. We call Tomcat, Apache, IIS, right? Glassfish, right? So there are a number of web server softwares, right? Web server software. So web server software are installed in servers, right? And through the client computer, right? So in the client computer, through the web browser, we can access them, right? So there are a number of web browsers, you know, Google Chrome, Firefox, Opera, IE, right? So what we can do, we can request the web page by its URL. Then, depending on the request of the client, web server provide the response. All right. So then we have to use the relevant protocol. It may be HTTP or HTTPS. Right. Okay. So that's about the how web works. Now let's see how to creating web pages. Right. So if it is a web page, that should be the file extension HTML or HTML, right? So we can use the basic text editor like Notepad, Notepad++ to create web pages, as well as there are a number of tools, right? VS Code, Front Page, and Dreamweaver, those tools are there. Even we can use the MS Word as well, right? Okay, so HTML basically describes the structure of the web page, right? So HTML consists of series of elements. So let's see what is the element. So elements are represented by tags, right? So here this is the basic, right? So web page is a web page basically consists of a series of elements. Those elements are represented by tags, right? So the markup tags provide information about the web page, right? So we can provide some information about the web page using these markup tags, right? So basically, web browser render web page using HTML tags, right? And display it. Okay, so basically HTML tags are the keywords of the HTML language, and these are surrounded by we call angle brackets. That, usually less than and greater than symbols we call angle bracket, right? So this is the general format, right? So we can have a tag name in two angle brackets for less than and greater than symbol, and here we can have a content for that particular tag, and we have to close the tag, right? So the first tag is the pair of start tag and the end tag. So this is called opening tag, closing tag, or start tag and end tag, right? So usually end tag is written like the start tag, but here we have to use slash before the tag, right? So the HTML elements actually consist of opening tag, closing tag, and in between them we can place the content, right? So this is the general format of the HTML elements, right? So, so here the elements whose content is empty, right? There are some elements whose content is empty. That means they don't have content, right? So they don't need closing tags. So I'll explain that, right? I'll show you. There are some tags which are not need the closing tag. They have only one tag, right? Okay, so HTML is a collection of tags, right? So basically, HTML web page start from the HTML and close with the slash HTML, right? So in HTML in web page there are two main sections we call header section and body section, right? And here is the sample page. So actually, this is the called basic of this or the structure of the web page, right? Here we can start the HTML by using HTML tag, and at the end of the web page we can close it. So here in HTML we can have a two section, header section and body section. So this is how we start the head section and close the head section. So this is how we close the head section. Here we start the body section and close the body section. Why do you need these two sections, right? Actually, yeah, in header section we can provide the information about the page. Here we can have the content of the web page, right? So we call actually HTML source code or the HTML web page formatted to increase the readability, right, and facilitate the debugging, right? So what we can do, every block element in source code can start in a new line, right? As well as we can have every nested element should be indent. So we can indent text, right? Then so that we can have uh, one particular block, right? Sorry. And basically the web browsers are ignore the white spaces in a web page. So I'll show you, right? Now this is my first web page. So actually, first of all, we have to define this document type, right? So we call doc type. Here I'm going to use the HTML. Therefore, I'll say document type is HTML and open the HTML tag. At the same time, we can have closing tag. And within the header section, we can include the title of the web page. And within the body section, we can have a content of the web page like this. So this is HTML header, right? So which provide the extra information about the document. And here we have opening and closing tag of the title, right? So this is the body section, right? Which is the a section visible by the user, right? Or we call it the content of the web page, right? Okay, now let's create a one web page. I think you can also follow me, right? Okay. just I use say Notepad or Notepad plus plus is easy, so therefore I'll use the Notepad plus plus, right? Yeah, I think you can just start this, right? So if you have a PC or laptop, right, with you right now, it doesn't matter, right? So you have a separate a practical session, right? So, but right now I'm going to demonstrate this so that you can do the practical sessions easily, right? Uh, okay, when you come to the university, I think still you're from the outside the university, no? This is just for the preliminary courses, no? I think you're when the academics or the what you call the academics will start. When will start your academics? Think still not schedule the practical session, right? So that's why I asked, right? Okay. Uh, okay, I'll just start it, right? Okay. Yeah, we can use the visual studios as well, right? It's okay, but then basically it's, as a beginning, right? So we can use the notepad. I think that's better, right? So anyway, uh, I think at the laboratories, they don't have Visual Studio. They have NetBeans so summer, right? So it's better to practice in Notepad, right? Or Notepad plus plus. Right? So, but the suggestions are there. No? So this is how we just start it, right? So I'll define the document type, say HTML, right? So then here I start the web page by so this is the root element, and here I close the HTML tag. And as I said earlier, there are two sections called header section. So I open the header part and I close the header section. At the same time, I include the body section like this. So this is the structure of the web page. This is the structure of the web page, right? So this is how we save this. Go to File, Save As, and here we can provide the what you call file name. Yeah, I'll set say HTML practicals, right? So here, this is how we set the file name, right? So especially here, we have to use the meaningful file name. So the time being, just I said say, my first web page, first.html, right? It should include the file extension. Web page extension is HTML or HTML, right? I think it's clear, right? So you have to use .html as a file extension. Save, right? Okay, so this is my first web page, right? So within the header section, we can include the title for this, right? So title, I'll say this is just say my uh, like this, and here I close it. Okay, I save this, all right? So I just take this like this. Okay, now this is my file. Right, this is my file. You can see. Now this is default. By default, this is open through the web browser. So that's why this web browser symbol is, icon is there, right? So once if I double click on here, right? So once if I double click on here, it will open through the web browser, right? It will open through the web browser, right? So just see. So I just double click on it. And you can see this is open through the web browser, right? Okay, here you can see the title of the web page. Yeah, this is my first web page. So that is the title that I have included for the title tag, right? So in title, I include that title. This is my first web page. I keep these two into frame, right? Okay, now this is my title, right? So you can see that title is there. Okay, so that's about the basic structure of the web page, right? Now let's see how to include a paragraph, right? So how to include paragraphs for the web page. So here there is a tag called P. So we can include the opening P tag and close the P tag. So between open and close paragraph tag, we can have a paragraph, right? So this is like a misword paragraph, right? So the paragraphs or HTML paragraph tag automatically add extra blank line before and after the paragraph. Now let's see, right? So I just include paragraph for my web page, right? So for the time being, I'll just take some uh, say some content, right? So I'll take some content from the web, right? I just set the paragraph from your faculty web, right? You know what is your faculty web, right? I just take a faculty website and take some paragraph, right? Okay. Now this is my paragraph, right? So how can we insert this paragraph, right? So in the body section, I can include the opening paragraph tag, and at the same time, I include the closing paragraph tag. So in between opening and closing, we can include the paragraph like this. Right? So I'll take this paragraph from your faculty web and I save this. Now it has been already opened this, what you call this web page. Then I modify this. Therefore, I have to refresh this and it will be uh, change or update, right? So for the time being, I just close this source code as well as the web page, right? And I'll go to the location that I have used for saving my web page. So now you can see just you double click on here, it will be open through the web page. But in here, so if you want to find if you want to get the source code or HTML tags or source code of this file, how can we get the source code? Just you can right click on here and here you can open with any text editor. My case, I can use the notepad or here I have notepad plus plus. Then it will be open through the notepad application, right? So if I double click it, by default, it's open through the, it will be open through the web browser, right? Okay, so this is how we include the paragraph, right? So just if I include another paragraph, now you can see. So if I include another paragraph, right? Uh, you can see how this extra line, right? So extra line added to the paragraph, right? So just I take some, yeah, some content actually, right? Uh, yeah, I'll take some content, right? So now I'm going to insert another paragraph, right? So again, I open the paragraph tag and here close the paragraph tag, right? And here I include the content within opening and closing paragraph tag. I just save it. Uh, so if it has been already open, what you have to do, you have to refresh this and it will be affected or update. Now you can see there are two paragraphs. So as I said earlier, you can see, so before the paragraph, there is a space. Here also before the paragraph, there is a space, right? So by if you use the paragraph tag, by default, they will provide extra line. Actually, line means extra space before and after the paragraph, right? Okay. So this is how we insert the paragraph. So by the way, do you have some devices right now? Some of you have PCs or laptops. Shall we create at least one web page? I think that's better. Otherwise, I just demonstrate. I don't know whether you have practiced these things or not. Okay, I'll give you 2-3 minutes. You can create this web page in your device, right? So don't worry about this content of this, what you call this paragraph. You can just insert any text, right? Doesn't matter. So I don't need this content. Content means these paragraphs actually, these paragraphs. I need only this text, right? Okay, I'll give you 2-3 minutes. So those who complete, just raise your hand, right? Okay, I'll give you say 3 minutes to do, what you call write this HTML code in your device. Yes, I'll give you now it's 140, almost 40. In 43, I'll give 3 minutes, then I'll start. So once we complete, raise your hand, right? I think now time is enough, no? Hands of those who have complete, those who have created this web page. Next part. Yes. Others, can you explain again? And what should I do after making in Notepad? Yeah. First of all, you have to create this. You have to type this, right? So you have to create this web page by include these tags in Notepad, right? So as I said earlier, right? So there are two components of the web page, right? Okay, I'll explain. So because this is the first one, right? So there are two components, right? So we call a header section and body section, right? So this is the definition of the here we have to define the what is this document, right? So you can use the doc type. Document type is HTML. Here we use the HTML tags. So that's why we include this one. And this is the root tag, right? Starting tag HTML. So at the same time, we have to have a closing tag, right? And this is the opening and closing tag of the header section, head section, and this is the body section. So usually in head section, we can provide the information about the web page. So what are the keywords which are inside the head web page? What is the title of the web page like? And this is the body section. Body section is the section which contain the content of the web page. Content of the web page. So here I have two paragraphs, right? So usually paragraphs are included within the opening and closing paragraph tag. Opening and closing paragraph tag, right? Then, so once if you create this web page, you have to save this. How to save this? Go to File, Save As, and here we can provide the file name along with the file extension, right? So the file name, my file name is first, say first. So this is the first web page, and you have to use the HTML extension, HTML, and you can save this now. uh, Right, so I have already saved this. Then in my case, I save this one in my folder, separate folder. So that is called HTML, right? So inside the HTML folder, and so this is the web page. Actually, this file can be opened through the web browser or text editor. Similarly, Notepad, right? So once if you double click on here, it will be opened through the web browser. Now this is web page. So if you want to open the source code, you can go to the right click on here and you can go to the open with, and here you can find the application. So right now in my case, I have application on here, right? Edit with Notepad++, right? So if you use the Notepad, you can go to the open with, and here you can select the relevant application, Notepad. But in here, I use Notepad++, so therefore that application is there. I open to the Notepad++. So this is my source code. This is called source code. So if you double click on here, it will be opened through the web browser like this. I think now it's clear, no? Okay, now can you raise your hand? At least few of you have complete this. Now, raise your hand, those who have complete this. I'll give another 2, 3 minutes because this is the first one. So that's why I explain again and provide reasonable time. Okay, just raise your hand though. I have complete this. Yes, others. I okay. VS Code is okay, but the thing is, at the laboratories, I think we don't have VS Code, right? So that's the problem, right? So anyway, can use the coding, right? So okay, now almost 35. Oh, yeah, just that's better. Okay, we'll have a practical session, right? Okay, so that's about the paragraph. And if you have a paragraph, yeah. So if this paragraph is there, we have to insert a title for the paragraph, or we call heading. right? So this is about the faculty. Just say this is about the faculty. So this is about the department, right? So here I can include the heading or the topic for this web page, right? So when you insert the heading, right? So there are a number of levels, right? Number of levels. You know the main topic and subtopic, level one subtopic, level two subtopic, likewise. So if you want to insert those kind of headings, there are six levels of heading in HTML, right? So the lower heading number, then we have a higher. If it is a heading number is lower, then that is higher heading. For example, level one heading is called H1, right? So level two heading is say H2. Likewise, there are six different levels, right? So now I'll insert the main topic, so main title, so which is in H1 heading. I'll set say allied health, sorry, sciences, allied health sciences, right? And I close the heading H1, right? So I just save this and update. How to update? Refresh the web page. Now this is the first topic or the level one. So at the same time here we can set the say introduction, right? So that is what you call say level two heading, right? Say uh, introduction, introduction, right? Just say this is level two heading and level three here the level three that is say basic department of uh, Department of Basic Science, right? Basic Science. Yeah. Now this is level three. Now there are three different levels, right? Okay. Now we can apply. Just refresh the web page. Right? So here this is H3. Yeah, this is the opening H3 tag. So like this, we can have headings. This. So this is how we insert headings, right? And yeah, yeah. Now we can have HTML attributes, right? So for example, attribute means, so basically attributes are used to explain about the content. So for example, now you can, if I take this particular paragraph, so by default, this is aligned to left side. So this is left aligned paragraph. This is also left aligned paragraph. So by default, the paragraph is aligned to left. So if you want, you can align this paragraph to right. If you want, you can align to center. At the same time, you can have a justify alignment. So how can you do that? So this is the tag which explain about the paragraph, right? So here in paragraph tag, we have number of attributes. Attributes are used to explain the what you call the formatting, the content of the tag. So if you want to align the paragraph, there is an attribute called align, right? Attribute is always with value, right? Or we call, here we have name of the attribute and the value. That is pair, name and value. So here we can set the value. So by default, the value is left, right? So default paragraph is aligned to left, right? So if you want, we can align to right, right? GHT, right, right? And if you want, we can say center, center line. So let's see. Now we can see this is aligned to the right side, while this is centered line, right? So usually we uh, justified. So usually we align the paragraph in justified alignment like this. Now paragraphs are justified, right? So for example, if you want to set say background, the color for the background, color of the background, as I said earlier, so this is the content of web page, body section. So instead of set color or the background color for the paragraph, I'll set background color for the entire web page. So how can I set that? I can set the background color in body section. Body section. Set say there's an attribute called BG color. Then here we can set the value, right? Here we can set the value. So for example, I'll set say blue. Oh, just say pink, something, right? Say yellow or say light green, something like that, right? Like this, right? So likewise, here we can set the color, right? You can set the color. Just say, I'll set say a light blue. Light blue. I think this is better, right? So likewise, now I want to explain. Uh, If it is attribute there, then we have to set the value. So always attributes come with name value pair, name and value, right? So basically HTML elements can have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about the element, right? So attributes always place within the starting tag, and it's come with name value pair, name value pair, right? Here the line paragraphs, and here we have the how to break paragraph, right? So if you want to break paragraph, right? So for example, here, right? Here one particular paragraph, this is different paragraph. So without different paragraphs, actually, say from here onwards, I want to start from new line. That means I want to break this in MS Word. We just use the enter key, right? So I'll go to my web page, source code actually. I go to my source code, and here I can search that uh, content all degree. So here I can use manual break. BR means break. BR means break. All right. So here you can see. Now this is not a different paragraph because if it is paragraph, the paragraph is always starting with new blank line. Right. Now you can see here I just break the paragraph. Break the paragraph. Right. So you may have seen in order to do that, I use say BR tag called BR, right? So I use the tag called BR tag, break tag BR. So this is inline tag. Here we don't have content, right? So here we don't have content, right? It's just BR break, right? So in that case, we don't have a closing tag, right? Okay, I think now it's clear, right? Is it okay? Have you got that? Yes. Which ones can you explain? This is a little bit slowly. Okay, I'll explain slowly, right? I think. Is it difficult to catch up the things? Difficult to grasp the things, right? Okay, I'll explain, sir. So, okay, now what I have done here, I insert two paragraph with uh, three different levels of headings. So this is the level one heading. This is level two. This is level three heading. So in order to do that, we have to use the relevant tags, right? So if you want to insert the level one heading, the tag is H1, right? And so this is the opening H1 tag, and here this is the closing H1 tag. So within opening and closing H1 tag, we have to insert the title, right? And here opening and closing the level 2 tag. Here we insert the paragraph. So here the paragraph starting from P tag, P, right? So forget about this attribute, right? And this is level 3 heading, and this is the another paragraph. So when you explain about the paragraphs, so how align this paragraph? So what is the background color of the paragraph? What is the font type used in paragraph? So we can use attributes of the paragraph tag, right? So one attribute is alignment, right? So we can align the paragraph using the default values. Default value is left, but we can have a justify, right, center, those alignments. Similarly, we can set the background color for the body, right? There's an attribute called BG color, and here we can set the color, right? So that's how we create the web page, right? Think now it's okay, right? Okay. Now, again, I'll just copy the same source code, and now I'm going to do a different thing, right? Different thing. I'll just take the content or the just say structure or basic structure of the web page. So this is basic structure, right? So I'll save this one as say called list one, right? Now I'm going to have a list. So how to insert list into the web page, right? Say list. You know what is meant by list, right? So say just I'll take the Word document. And now assume now I want to insert list in MS Word. List, right? List means there are a number of items, right? So for example, So what are the department of your faculty, right? Say nursing, right? And say radiography, right? Say what else? Say multi, right? Likewise, we can have a different departments, right? So basic science, right? Like this. So there are different departments. So we can list out these things. So how to list this in MS Word? We can list this using this kind of bullets, right? Or we can have some kind of numbers, right? So we can numbering, so the numbering like this, right? So these are called list. So this is called actually here we can mention the order. Therefore, this is called ordered list. Ordered list. Ordered list, right? Ordered list. So if it is ordered list, this is unordered list. This is called unordered list. Right? There is no order in here, right? In here, there is no order, right? Unordered list. So now how to insert these things in web page, right? So this is how we insert it, right? So in order to do that, right now we can see empty web page, right? So I'll just set heading, say H1, H1 heading, say departments, right? So this is not required, just I'll put it, right? Okay, departments. So first of all, I want to insert unordered list. Unordered list means there is no order, right? So tag is unordered list, UL, unordered list. And at the same time, I insert the closing tag, unordered list, right? And here we can have a list item. Actually, these are called list items, right? Nursing, radiography, MLT, basic sciences, right? So these are called list items. The tag is called LI, list items, right? So here, after inserting list item, I have to close it, close the list item, right? So how to insert that? Like this. Sorry, I just copy the list item tag and insert here. So four list items, right? You know what are the items, right? Just you can copy these things for time saving. I just copy from here nursing, right? And radiography, right? I don't need these bullets, right? MLT, right? I don't need to insert these bullets in here, but I want to display it, right? So I just remove this, right? I just remove these bullet points, right? Bullet symbol. Okay, now these are the what you call unordered list. There is no order. I just save this and refresh. You can see, right? Here, these are the list item. Right? So here the symbol is, we call this is disk. Right? We can change this. So in unordered list, we have attributes called type. Type. So default type is disk. Disk. So this is the default type. You can see, right? So there is no difference between this, right? So if you need, you can have a circle, circle like this. So if you want, we can have a square, square. Likewise, we can change this, right? Square or a circle or whatever thing. So this is unordered list, right? So this is unordered list, unordered list, right? Similarly, I can set the ordered list. I'll set this one as list two, right? So I use the same source code, right? Ordered list, ordered list. So if it is ordered list, right? So if it is ordered list, so now this is the code. This is not the web page. The web page is list two. This one. If it is ordered list, the tag is not UL, that is OL, ordered list. List items are same, right? Ordered list. OL, ordered list. You can see now we can represent particular order. Right? Again, here the numbering order can be changed. By default, this is what you call the Arabic number system, right? Not the Roman number system. We can mention it, Roman. If I need a Roman uppercase, I can mention it like this. So likewise, we can have different type of list, right? So this is the default one, right? Yeah. So in here, assume now I want to insert a list something like this, right? So list something like this. So I just save this one as a list three, right? List three. Uh, then I change this list items. Just I use a Word and then say a spreadsheet, right? Just say MS Access, right? Or database, right? So I have only three items. So this is list three, right? List three, right? So here I open that web page. List three. Now, what I want to do now, this is not department. These are applications, right? Now I want to use some sub numbering as well. Sub numbering, right? Sub numbering. How to do the sub numbering? Here in MS Word, we can have sub numbering like this, right? So first of all, you have to set the uh, 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 format. Just I said say this particular format, right? This one. So I set sub numbering with this format, or you can use this particular format, right? Okay. Then here we can say word used to type say reports and say letters like this, and spreadsheet for the say data analysis, and say calculation, and database for to records. And someone changed this. So I want to display this sub numbering list or sub list, right? Which include the main list as well as sub list. So how can I change this source code so that this will be appeared in web page? Yes, I'll give you 2 3 minutes. Can you do that? So once if you complete this, send me a message, right? Okay, I'll give say just 3 minutes or just say 5 minutes. No need to 5 minutes. No? Yeah, just 3 to 5 minutes. Once if you complete, raise your hand and send me a message. Okay, can you do that? Is it difficult? I want to uh, I want to include this particular list in web page, right? So now this is the default one. So this is what I want to display. How can I do that? So hands up those who have done that, at least two, three. Hands up those who have done that. So right now I have this kind of output, right? Three basic list items, right? So I have to include some sub list items as well. Yes. How many of you have done this? Yes, once if you done, then just you can send me the code, right? Yeah, I think some of you have done that, right? So anyway, those who could complete, I'll just explain this, right? So now I need these two. Actually, these two are in uh, sub list, right? So those are in labeled by uh, here English alphabet, English lowercase alphabet letters, right? So here in here after the first item, right? So I can have another list, ordered list, another ordered list like this, right? So here I can insert two list items, right? So here two list items like this, right? Those are reports and letters. I'll just say this is report, this is letters, report and letters. So I don't need to insert this numbering system, right? Then if I check this, so this is the third list. You can see reports and letters are okay, but this numbering the numbering method is actually the numbering style should be English lowercase. Then here I insert just say the type is English lowercase a like this. If you want the Roman, I can insert the Roman style, right? So that depends, right? So here I need this format, right? Similarly, I can include another sublist for the spreadsheet under the spreadsheet item as well as database. And you can insert here the relevant one, data analysis and calculation, something like that, right? So here I can say data analysis, right? Data analysis and the calculation. So actually I don't need to insert this EB, right? Right? And store record codes, right? Okay, now this is how we insert sublist. I don't have this, right? Like this, right? Have you got that? Did you understand? Yes or no? Did you understand that? Yes. Hands up those who couldn't those who have understand this. Hands up those who have understand how to insert this kind of a list, including sub list as well. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Most of you. Yeah. Yeah. Good. 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 Right. Okay. So that's about the ordered list and unordered list. And there's another list called a definition list. So we discussed this, right? So these are ordered list, right? So which are labeled, which can be labeled by various numbering system, Roman. So it may be a lowercase Roman, uppercase Roman, lowercase alphabet, uppercase alphabet, or it may be a uh, new default Arabic number system, right? So this is the ordered list, right? So whose elements are in a particular order, and unordered list means whose elements are appear in any order, right? So here we don't have order, right? So again, we can have a style. We can have different types of order, right? It may be disc, circle, or it may be a square, right? So our next one is definition list. We can have a particular term and include the definition, right? So we can have a particular term and definition, right? So this is how we use that, right? So definition list, right? Definition list. So let's see how to insert that, right? So again, I'll take a same source code. So and I'll create the basic structure, basic structure. So this is the basic structure. So I'll say definitions. This is called definition list, right? This is called definition list. Definition, right? So I save this one as a list, fourth one, HTML, right? So in definition list, so how to do that, right? So there's a tag called definition list, DL, sorry, definition list, DL. It doesn't matter, you can have a uppercase characters as well. And here we can have a date definition term, definition term. Just say HTML. So that's my term. I want to define HTML, the term called HTML. And here we can include the data definition. HTML means, so you know, hyper text markup language, right? So here I close the data definition. Then we can have another term, data term, definition term, say CSS, right? The definition term, right? So here we can have data definition, say cascade style sheet. And here we can close it, data definition, right? So this is fourth one, right? You can have HTML definition, CSS definition, right? So likewise, we can have definitions, right? So this is called definition list, right? And then we insert the colors, but usually we use color codes, right? Basically, you know, the basic colors are red, green, blue, right? So in web page designing, we have the color values for these colors, right? So basically, these values are formatted from red, green, blue, right? Actually, here we can have three different parameters. So each parameter can have intensity level from 0 to 255, right? Actually, this is in hexadecimal values. You know the hexadecimal number system. I think you may have studied these things in grade 10, right? Or 9, right? So in hexadecimal number system, so basically we have a six digit. You know, in hexadecimal number system, we have 16 different symbols for represent digit, right? But in decimal number system, we have 0 to 15. We have to use 0 to 15. Hexadecimal number system, since we have 16 different digits, we start from 0, then the last one is F. F means 50, right? So by using hexadecimal number system, we can have a minimum. So if you have two digits, if you have two digits of hexadecimal number system, first one is 16 to the power 0, which is the value is 1. And the next one is 16 to the power 1, which is value is 16, right? So the minimum representation of two digits is 00, which is the final 0. Maximum value of one particular digit in hexadecimal number system is F, right? So if you take F in zeroth level, then 1 into 15, which is 15. In here, if you have F, the digit value is F, which is 15. Here the positional value, actually these are called positional value. Here the positional value is 16 to the power 01. Here the position value is 16 to the power 1, which is 16. So in maximum representation, here F means, digit F means the value is 15, 15 into 1. Because here the position value is 1, right? Here position value is 1. Then here the digit is F. F means decimal 15. Then 15 into, here the decimal value is 1, which is 15. The value is 15. Here the positional value is 16, right? So position value is 16. Digit is F, which is 15. 16 into 50 means 240. So the value is, final value is 240 plus 15 means 255. Then the one particular, if you have two digit in hexadecimal number system, minimum representation is 0, maximum representation is 255, right? Likewise, if you have digits, six digit means each component having two different digits. So here the minimum representation is 0, maximum representation can be FF, which is 255. Here 00, the maximum value which we can represent is FF, right? So here by using these two digits, we can represent the value, intensity value of R, which means red, G, and B. By using these two digits, we can represent the intensity of green. Here we can represent intensity of blue. So if you said FF and all the other digits are 0, then what is this color? What is this color? Yes. What is this? What is the color represented by this particular number system or code? Actually, the number system code. FF, all other values are 0. Yes. What is that representation? What is the color represented by this particular code? FF zeros. What is the color? What is the color represented by this particular code? I mean, FF 0000. Yes. What is the color? What is the color? Yes. Yeah. One says, yeah. Others, yes. You can send me a message, right? What is the color? Yeah. Red. That is red. So if you said 0000 and FF 00, then what is the color? You can test it, right? Right. So likewise, we can represent colors, actually combination of colors. You can say if it is FF 0, that is red, and FF4F00, that is red, green, that is yellow. And if it's FF middle, that is green. Likewise, we can have different colors, right? You can just set it, right? And you can test it, right? So for example, in definition list for the background color, I can set color in color codes, right? So for example, if you set say like this, say CC 00 CC, right? 00 CC. This is another code. So since this is hexadecimal number system, we can represent by using hash, right? Yeah, like this. This is another color, right? If you set CC for the other one, so these are the color code. So this is the color which is produced by this particular color code, right? So likewise, we can set the color, right? Okay. And then when you explain particular thing, so if you want to put some kind of a comment means, so actually if you put the comment, so those comments are ignored by the web browser. So for example, if you say, this is how we insert the definition list, right? So that is not a part of the web page. That is not a part of the web page. So that can be including for the what you call explanation this code, right? So this is how insert definition list, right? So this is some kind of a description, right? Actually, web browser ignore these kind of codes. So if you insert particular thing between these opening and closing comments syntax, then this is these kind of comments are ignored. These are ignored, right? These are ignored. Now you can see this is not in web page. That is not part of the web page, right? Okay. Then next, let's move to the text formatting. Text formatting. By the way, do you need the break? Yes or no? Do you want break? I have to conduct up to 4 o'clock. Uh, Nobody says yes or no. Means you don't need the break, no? Do you want break? One says yes. Others? No. Okay, okay. Just after this part, will have a break, right? So after I'll need to I want to complete up to this, right? So let's see the text formatting. Text, yeah, text formatting. So how to use text formatting? So if I want to set the say font color, so now just first one is font formatting. So in order to do the font formatting, we can have a tag called font tag, right? So I'll just take the first paragraph, right? And I save this one is say formatting.html, and I remove these formattings, right? So I'll just remove this background color and justify, right? I just remove this, right? So now I want to format this, right? Now here, this is yeah, the just plain text are there, plain text, right? So if I want to format this, right? So I can change this font type, right? And size and the font color, all those things. So how can I do that? So before the paragraph or just before the just after the paragraph tag, I can use the font tag font. Here we can include the font type. Font type. Just say Calibri. And here we can have font color, right? Here we can set the font color, right? So again, now we can use the RGB color code, right? So if it is blue, I can say 0000 FF and save this. So now you can see here onwards, all the text are in blue color because here I open the font tag, right? But I don't close the font tag. Here, if I close the font tag, now you can see, now you can see this is applicable only for this particular paragraph, only for the paragraph, this one, right? So which is not applicable for this one, right? So this is only applicable for the first paragraph, first one. It is not applicable for the second one, right? Okay. Likewise, we can have a different font formatting for the other paragraphs as well. You can use the font tag, right? So font type, size, color, all those things are possible, right? Font face, size, face means type, right? The color, right? So as well as there are some what you call text formatting as well. So if you want to bold text, you can use the B tag, right? So I'll just explain quickly. So now assume I want to bold this particular text, right? This one, the shortened form, right? So I just you can use the B tag, bold here, B. Assume I want to italic this particular date, then I can insert the italic, open italic tag and close italic tag. Otherwise, it will be applicable for the whole text like this. So you can see, I don't close the bold tag. Therefore, that is applicable for it has been applied for the whole text, right? I said, right? I said it, right? Here, I just save and now you can see this has been bold, this is italic. Likewise, there are a number of text formatting, right? So there are a number of text formatting. You can use the block quote and so emphasize, strong, right? As well as superscript, subscript, all those things are there, right? Okay. And one more thing, that is abbreviations. Abbreviations, right? You can see, uh, you know, when you actually abbreviation is suit for this particular text, right? Just remove this bold. This is Faculty of Allied Health Science, right? So this is a shortened form, FAHS, Faculty of Allied Health Science, right? You can see here. So we can include this one, actually. We can include this one, right? So if you remove this, all right, so those who know this abbreviation, they can just say Faculty of Allied Health Science. But for the reader, we can provide some kind of explanation for this explanation and have a description, right? That is called abbreviation, right? Say, how can we insert the abbreviation, right? So we can have some kind of a title. We can have a title, right? So this is the title, right? So this is the label which is display. Here we can have a tag called abbreviation, and we can use the title as the description, right? So description is Faculty of Allied Health Science, right? So the display value is this. I just remove this, right? So this is what display at the web page. But if a reader needs, or if reader won't find what is this abbreviation, what is meant by this, he can just refer this. How can you do that, right? You can see now. So by default, this is the description, FAHS. But so once if you move your cursor over the abbreviation, now you can see the description is there. You can see that, right? So when you move your mouse pointer, now by default, this is the display, right? So if you move your cursor, you can see the description is there, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. That is called abbreviation, abbreviation, right? Short form, right? Okay, so that's how we insert the abbreviation, right? Okay, up to this, have you got this? Up to this, it's okay. Oh no, it's a very simple thing, right? Hands of those who understand up to this, yes, yes, others, yeah, uh, around 30, altogether 173 is there, right? Let's see how many of you are actively participate. At least raise your hand, right? Others couldn't raise your hand, right? That means raise their hand means they have failed to raise their hand means that is not participated, no, right? Just open the meeting and leave. That's it. Okay, anyway, now it's 2:35. After say 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Yes, just take 10 minutes break and I'll start 4:35 for sorry 2:35, 2:45, right? Okay, we'll start 2:45. Okay, shall we start? Yes. Okay, the next part is how to insert emails and how to set the links. So, as I explained earlier, right? So, every web resource can be accessed to their URL or address. URL means, as I told earlier, uniform resource locator. So that is unique address of resource for the resource in the web. So URL address scheme actually which will allow user and the internet enabled program to find particular the specified resource from the web. So this is very important. Actually, the URL has a different parts. As I said earlier, there are different parts. So this is a typical URL, right? So here we have a protocol. So how to access this resource? Protocol means how to access this resource. Here we use HTTP protocol, and here we have a host name, domain name of the server, and here we have the resource locator or the location of the resource. So when you talk about the path, there are two different paths. We call absolute path and the relative path. So absolute path means the absolute path contains all the relevant information to find the specified resource. Right? So typically, absolute path is a URL. Right? And the next one is the relative path. Relative paths means the path contain information relative to the current document. So I'll explain in examples, right? So uh, then next go to the HTML links, or we call hyperlinks. Right? So HTML links are labeled as hyperlinks. Right? So you can just click on the link and jump into the another document. Actually, in here, when you move your mouse pointer over the link, right? So it will be displayed some kind of a little hand symbol. Means your mouse pointer will be changed from arrow to little hand symbol. So let's see. So basically, when you how can we create the link? We have a hyperlink tag called anchor tag. Using the anchor tag, we can create a hyperlink. So, for example, if you want to send a link to the say university web page, you can have a link a href. Href means the location. Here we can specify the location, and so we can mention how to open this document in the same web page or in a different tag, right? And here we can have a label. Now let's see. Let's see how to insert a link, right? Now, this is my web page. This is this is my uh, destination. University web page, right? Still, the website index page or the home page. So now I take the what you call the basic structure of the web page, right? So I'll take this one as a basic structure, right? So now I'm going to link, say link one.html, right? So I'll just remove this. Okay, now this is my say link, right? Link to university web, right? Here I just remove this. Okay, now this is my web page link, right? Which one? This one, right? Now this is empty, right? So how can we insert the link? So we can use the anchor tag. So this is how we use the anchor, right? A anchor tag is A, right? Here we can have a sorry. At the same time, I insert the closing tag. Here we can insert the label. Say, say, sit, stop. Where are they? You can see that. Now here, still we don't have the link, right? Still we don't have a link right now. Can you hear me? I think problem with this mic now. Right now. Can you hear me? Is it okay? Yes, please respond. What about my audio quality? Is it okay or still the problem is there? Yes. Can you hear me? Oh, yes means is there any problem? Oh, is it okay? Just send me. Okay, right. Okay. Okay. Now I insert the label, right? Still that link is not processed. So how to process the link? How to insert the link? Just we can mention the reference href, and here we can set the path. So my path is this www.pdn.ac.lk. Then I save this. Actually, this is the absolute path, right, which will provide all the information to the web. Now you can see. When you move your mouse pointer, now this is arrow, symbol is arrow. When you move your mouse pointer, now you can see the symbol has been changed. Little hand. When you click on, it will be open the university web, right? So actually, this is open in the same web page, same web page. So if I want to open this, what you call destination in a different web, different tech, right? So here we can mention that. So I can set the target. So default target means self, self. So this is the default target. Right? So if I set the blank underscore blank, right? So I go to the link, refresh, right? Then when you click on here, now you can see it will be open in a different tab. When you click on here, it will be open in a different tab. Right? I just close this, right? And I just close this. So when you click on here, you can see it will be open in a different tag, not in the same. So how can I check? How can I set that? So you can set using the target attribute. Target is now you can see blank web page, right? Okay, so that's about the uh, hyperlink for the web page. Actually, here we use some kind of a absolute path. Absolute path. Okay, I'll explain the relative path. Relative path. So this is very special, right? So these are the targets, right? So blank for the cell. Or there are some other target values as well. Okay. So okay, table and oh yeah. Now I'll explain a simple example for this relative web page or the relative path. So this is very important, right? So that's why I take some time, right? Okay. For the time being, I think you also like, go with this A, right? So I'll create three different web pages, right? Three different web pages, right? So first of all, I'll create the structure, basic structure. So this is the basic structure. I save this one as I think you all have bio background. So just I yeah create subfolder within the HTML, say advanced level, right? A level. I'll just create a folder called A, right? And here I'll create say AL dot say just say biology. No, the stream is biology, no science. Stream is science stream, no science dot HTML, science dot HTML. Here I'll just say science, right? So here my heading is just look at this example, right? Say biology. No, the heading is just say biology, right? Then I close the heading, right? Here I include the basic what you call three subjects, right? So yeah, uh, yeah, only the subjects, right? Just I said bioscience and say physics, right? These are the three subjects. So this is my page inside the A level folder, right? Okay. Now I just use the break tag to break these items, right? Just I use the break BR, right? So after break this, use the break. right? Okay, now I have these items, right? Then I create the three different web pages for each subject, right? So again, I take the same basic, same structure, basic structure, right? So forget about this. So this, say this is advanced level, say bioscience. So topic is bioscience, otherwise it conflict. Yeah, bioscience. Then I create a web page for the biology, right? Say biology syllabus or a content. So within this web page, assume the content of biology is there. Then I save this one as biology, right? Say biology.html, right? Then I create another web page for the other subject, the physics, no? Right? Then I save this one as say physics, right? Physics.html. And I'll take another web page and save this one as say chemistry, c.html, right? Chemistry. Okay. Now I have three different web pages, right? Biology, physics, chemistry. And here we have a web page called science, right? So these are the three different web page, right? Okay, I just open all the web pages and see this is physics content, chemistry content, and biology content. And here we have bioscience, right? Now what I want to do, right? So when I click on the relevant subject, it will be directed or it will be open the relevant web page. So for example, when you click on here, it will be open the biology content page. So when you click on the physics, it will be open, it should be open the physics content page. So when you click on this chemistry item or the item, it should be open the chemistry content page. So likewise, so when you click on the relevant subject, click on the subject, it should be open the relevant web page, right? So that's what I want, right? So just I close these tags, right? For the time being. Okay, right. Have you got that? What I want to do? Have you got the what you call the activity? What I want to do? Is it okay? Yes. Okay. When you click on this, it should be open the relevant web page. Now I can set the link, right? So when you set the link, so how can we set the link? So here we can use the anchor tag, right? So anchor tag and the reference. So here we can put the reference, right? And this is the label, and here we can close it, close the anchor tag, right? Similarly, for the next one, I can use the anchor tag, and here close the anchor tag. Here we can close the anchor tag. Similarly, here we can set the tag and close the anchor tag, right? Okay. Still, I just set the anchor tag, but here there is no destination. The reference is not there. Destination is not there. You can see, right? Destination is not there, right? Just insert the anchor tag. How can I set the destination, right? How can I set the destination? So there are two ways. The first one is you can use the relative path, right? And then the second one is you can use the absolute path. So what is the absolute path? Absolute path means the path of this file, right? So if you open these three files, so these three web pages, you can see these are the absolute path. So now if I take this one, right, you can see in E drive within this folder 2024 AH1102 HTML AL chemistry.html. So this is the absolute path for the chemistry.html, right? Absolute path. That's for this, right? So if you take a chemistry path, is okay. Physics. So this is the absolute path. E 2024 H source the course code and HTML this one, right? So that is for physics. So this is file. So that's why this file part is there. And next one, this is the absolute path for the so for the bio, yeah, the absolute path for the physics chemistry. I missed the biology, right? So I'll open the biology one. Yeah, this one. So this is the absolute path for the biology. This one, right? So I have to insert that one to the biology anchor tag. Okay. Now this is correct. I used absolute path. So here I used absolute path. I just comment it, right? I just comment it. So here I use absolute path, absolute path, absolute path for the biology, physics, and chemistry, right? Here, here. When you click on, it will be open, right? When you click on physics, it will be open. When you click on chemistry, it will be open, right? Likewise, we can use the biology, physics, chemistry. Absolute path is okay. But let's see what will happen. So if I replace this folder, right? So for example, here, now I just cut this folder. I just remove this folder. I just cut it and paste in here. A. Fold is there. Now fold is there. A. Right? Now I open this part, this file, the biology, the science, right? Uh, Physics, science. Now when you click on here, now you can see actually absolute path of these files has been changed, right? Now when you click on here, when you click on here, that is not working because in this location, actually at the location, this file is not there. Biology.html is not there, right? When you click on here, now, so if you use the absolute path and when you move this entire folder, it won't be executed, right? So it's better to set the relative path. Now, how to set the relative path? So this is how we set the relative path, right? I just opened this one, science one through the Notepad++, right? So how to set the relative path? Now you can see, so all these files are in one particular folder or a directory, right? So if you draw this folder structure, so this is my root folder. Root folder is actually AH, AH1102. That is the root folder. Say this is the root folder, right? So under this one, so here I have three different folders, right? You can see HTML folder is there, HTML, right? So HTML, you can see HTML is there. And here I have A level folder, AL folder, AL. And here the folder is old is there, right? So within the AL folder, I have these files, no? I have those files, right? So science. I just say science, right? SCI. And I have the other three files for three subjects, right? I just write it, right? So these are folders. So just file represent like this, right? These are files, not HTML files, right? These are science, say biology, physics, chemistry, right? So my uh, file is science.html. So these are the destination. Or these are the files that I have to set the reference. So these are the reference, right? So all in one particular location, one particular location. Therefore, I can set location like this. Just I can set the biology.html because all are in one particular location. So instead of I just remove this part, right? So instead of set the absolute path, we can just set the file name because all the files are in one particular location. All the files are in say EL folder, right? So I just remove this path. I can set the file name because all the files are in one location. Here, biology, physics, chemistry, right? So my file is actually right now the source code is science.html, science.html that is within the AL folder. Within the same folder, I have these three files. Therefore, you can see that, right? So within AL folder, I have this. Right now, I'm in science.html. I want to set the links for these three web pages. So all line since all are in one particular folder, I can set just a file name. Now let's see. I open the science.html. So now when you click on here, it will be directed to the relevant web page. Okay, is it okay? Since all are in one particular directory, we can set the link like this. Right now, is it okay? Oh, have you got that? Did you understand? Oh, shall I explain again? Did you understand or not? Just once if you understand, just raise your hand. Those who can understand. Did you understand how to set the relative path? Relative path with respect to this science.html file. With respect to this file, all the other files which are to be linked are in same folder, right? Yes. One says, can you explain again? Yeah, I'll explain again. Now, so this is my file. This is the file. That means so within this file, I want to set the reference. I want to set links for another three different files, right? Bio.html, physics.html, and chemistry.html. So now this file is science.html. Right? So science.html file is located within the folder called AL, this folder. So this is my file. So these are the files to be linked within science.html file, right? So this is my source code, science.html. So which is located in here, which is saved in AL folder, right? So this is located in here. So what I want to do, I want to set the path or set the link for these three files, which are in same location, same location. Therefore, I can just set, I can just set a path like this: bio.html, physics.html, chemistry.html. So, okay, I'll explain another thing. So let's see now what will happen. So if I move these three files in another directory, into another directory, which is inside this AL folder, just say subjects, subjects. I said say subjects. So within the subjects folder, I have these three files. Now this is my source or just main file, science.html. This is my main file. So all the files which are to be linked inside the subjects folder, right? Inside the subject folder, right? Now this folder structure has been changed. Now this is change. Now this is change, which means so these three files are not here. These three files not in here, right? Inside the inside the AL folder, right? So inside the AL folder, I have another subfolder called inside the AL folder. I have another subfolder called subjects. Subjects, right? So I have another subfolder called subjects, right? So I'll just draw the files in red color. So this is my file, science.html. Usually files are mentioned like this, right? Now inside the science subjects folder, I have three different files. That is biology, and just say next one is say chemistry, next one is physics, right? So in short form, I write say bio, right? And just say physics, physics, just say chemistry, right? Bio.html, physics.html, chemistry.html, right? I just say HTML, right? And here, this is file HTML. This is file HTML. So this is also HTML, right? Now, so with respect to this folder, with respect to actually these files, these are inside the subjects folder, inside the subject folder. So in manually, how to what you call access this the files to be linked. Now I'm in here. So this is my source code, science.html. So if I want to access the files which are to be linked, I have to go to the subject folder and access it, right? So go to the subject folder. So that means I have to go to the inside the subject folder and access it. So now how can we set the relative path? So this is how we set the relative path. Go to the subjects folder inside that biology file. Go to the subjects folder inside the physics.html. Right here, go to the subjects folder inside subject folder. I have chemistry.html. Like this, right? So this is science.html. Go to the subject folder. Inside that we have a biology.html. Inside the subject folder, we have a physics.html. Inside the subjects folder, we have a chemistry.html. Likewise, we can go to the folder and inside that we have these web pages. Have you got that? Now let's see. Let's see what will happen. Just when I click on here, it will be directed. Here, it will be directed. Here, it will be directed. Right? So this is called relative path. Relative path. Right? Have you got that? Have you got it? Did you understand? Just raise your hand. Did you understand or not? This is very important concept, right? Yeah, 5, 6. What do you think about? Have you got that? Did you understand? Yes. Did you understand or not? 45. What about others? Just I can check whether you are participate to the lecture, right? Or just listen. Others. Okay, okay. Enough, right? Okay, that's about the relative path. But there is another concept, right? The same concept. So assume now I want to link another file which is in here. You want to link to the file which is in here. Like say there's a file called english.html. Just say english.html. I don't need use the absolute path. Absolute path is okay, but I want to set the relative path for the english.html. Now I'm in here, A level. I'm in science.html. So this is science.html file. So in manually, let's see, there is a file called say english.html. English, right? So I take the one file from here and change the content, right? So which is inside HTML folder, not AL, HTML folder. Assume this, right? So I change this, right? So I change this one as English, English.html. I just change this, just say English, right? So now this is the file, english.html, which is inside the home for HTML folder. HTML folder. So now I am in this one, science.html, that is in here, right? So if you want to access english.html, so I have to go upwards. Then I am in AH1102 and go to inside the HTML folder. Then I can find this one backward and forward HTML folder. So in manually, so this is how we access. Go to the upwards. Then we have AH1102. Then go to the HTML. Go to HTML folder. Then we have english.html, right? So how can we do that? So first of all, we have to backward. Now let's see how to set the path. Right? This is how we set the path. A href, sorry, A href, and here we have to set the path. My label is say English, and yeah, closing. So what is the path? Path means so now I'm in inside the AL folder. I have to go upward. Upward is represented in HTML two double dot slash. Now I'm in upward. That means here if you put two double dot, which means you uh what you call backward here. Back, actually back. Now I'm in H11 node 2. Then you have to go to inside the HTML. Here we have English. So HTML, HTML. Here we can find English.html, right? Go to up, backward, and uh, English.html, right? I save this. Let's see. When you click on here, it will be directed, right? So this is the science.html, which is in AL folder. But when you click on here, now you can see which is HTML folder, right? So both AL and HTML are in one particular level, but inside the AL folder, we have a science.html file. So you have to upward for the upward with the backward from the AL folder, then you are in AH1102. So inside the AH1102, we have a HTML file. So we have to backward, one backward step and go to the inside HTML. Then there we have a English.html file. So here we can see this is this is how we do that. This is how we do that, right? So double dot means one backward. Have you got that? Yes. Did you understand? So please raise your. Did you understand that or not? Okay, I think yeah, more than 50. Yeah. Anyway, I'll ask this question at the exam, right? So you have to understand this, right? Anyway, okay. Right. So that's about the links, right? So that's how we use the links, right? So if you want, just you can take down this, right? So these are the folder structure, actually file structure, and this is how we set the links, right? So root folder H1102. So you can create this, right? So then here we have three folders, two folders, just say HTML and AL, right? So inside the AL folder, we have a science.html. Inside the AL folder, we have another folder called subjects. Inside the subjects, we have these three files. So I link these three files within here. And inside the HTML folder, I have this file. So I link this file within the science.html page as well, right? So you can just create this kind of folder structure and try to create this kind of links. So this is actually this is not absolute path right now. This is relative path, right? Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions? Yes or no? If you have any question, you can ask, right? Right. Yeah. Okay. 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 Right. Right. So now links are okay. Okay. Just shall I remove this? Now I think you take down this. Just I remove this. Right. Okay. So that's about the link, right? And next one is how to insert images. How to insert images, right? So again, there are a number of yeah attributes are there. Just for the time being, just I'll take one image. Yeah, but one ask, sir, is we have to use Notepad plus plus is that's not clear. No? It can normal. Yeah, you can use the just a notepad, but notepad. We can't what you call that is not highlight the what you call these at least the keywords, right? If you use the notepad, right? Uh, so if you just type these things in notepad, right? It's not like this, right? So at least here we can't find the keywords, and that is not. This is okay, right? It's okay. Use the notepad, it's okay, but it's difficult to find some errors, right? So those things are difficult, right? But this is okay. Use the notepad, it's okay, right? It's better to use at least notepad plus plus rather than other tools, right? So here we can find the tags are highlighted, right? So the attributes are in different color, comments are in different color. So then it's easy to find errors if they are this, right? So easy to find errors if any, right? So therefore, I recommend Notepad++. Doesn't matter if you want, you can use the Notepad as well. Okay, so that's about the text editors, right? So next one is how to insert what you call images, right? So just I'll take one more image, right? So quickly I'll take one image, right? And let's see how to insert those images. So I just set one image from the web, right? Okay, I just take yeah, yeah. I just set this image, right? Okay. So now I'm going to show within the HTML. Yeah, yeah. So so when you insert the image, actually for the web pages, so it's better to use some kind of what you call low size, right? So if you take the size, right, so it's better to use it maybe TIFF or so some high quality image, but it will be reduce the what you call web page loading, right? So there are some recommendations, right? So you can use any image anyway. I use yeah this right yeah this image is better. Now I have this image. So I'll create this basic structure. Again, I'll take the basic structure. Now I'm going to set the image, right? So I'll set the image. No, I just say yeah uop.html. Right now, I have image folder. In the folder, I have image. So this image, right? So it says UOP dot. So this is the file extension. It's not JPEG, right? So this is my file UOP, right? So in order to set the image, there is a tag called IMG. IMG. So here we can set the source. Source is the file to image. So this is my source, right? So if the image is not there, we can have a text, right? We can have a text. Then so here we can say unit of pair. So if someone cannot what to call download this image, right? Then if it is not available, that text is there, right? So for example, assume now this image has been moved to the another location. Means so we can't find the images, right? So now assume image is inside the images folder, right? So this is my file, uop.html. So inside the images folder, we can find the image. Just now that image is not there. Still, the alternative, the description is there. Then we can say the image of, say, image of unit of pair. And if it is not loaded, then the user know, or the what you call the viewer of the web page know this is image of unit of pair, right? Then it doesn't matter, right? So now if I want to check, set the link to this image, right, which is inside the images folder with respect to a uop.html web page. So this is the web page, right? So how can we set the relative path? Again, I can use, so with respect to this uop.html page inside the images folder, inside the image folder, I have this image UOP dot this particular image. Right now, it will be loaded. Right. So again, I use the relative path, which is very important. Right. So usually we use the relative path because once if you develop this website and upload it to the another host, right, hosting data. So then the absolute path is not working probably. Then we have to use the relative path. So for example, if I move this each 1102 folder to the another location, which is not loaded if you use the absolute path, right? You can just take down quickly the table and okay, it's better to use relative path other than the absolute path, right? Okay, so that's about the image, how to set images and image size, attribute, alignments, all those things are there, right? So next one, the final topic is tables and forms, right? So we can discuss the forms and next time. Just use the table, right? Table. So table is usually used in represent data, right? In order to represent data, we use the tables, right? So when you take the tables, right? So actually in tabular format, we can have uh, rows and columns. So we have to know what is row, what is column, right? So if it is table, right? So these are called rows. These are called rows. These are columns. These are called columns. So in this table, you may have seen uh, four columns and two rows. Two rows. Usually the first row is called header row. Header row. Header row. This is called header row, right? Or we call table row header. Table header. Table header. Rather than header row, we call table, right? So now let's see how to set insert table in HTML, right? Okay. Now, what I want to do, I want to insert table like this, right? So assume I want to insert a table like this, right? So in this table, assume just I want to insert student records, right? Student records. So there are four columns, say with two rows, right? Here I want to set say registration number, and here just say subjects, say as I said earlier, say biology, and say physics, and say chemistry, right? And here just for the time being, just say S001, 002, and here the marks should be inserted, right? So this is the table that I want to insert for the HTML web page. Just again I'll create the basic structure, right? Okay, I'll just copy this and now here I'm going to insert table, right? Table. I'll save this one as say table one dot HTML, right? Say students. All right. So in order to insert the table, there is a tag called table tag. Right. So at the same time, I insert the closing tag of the table. Right. So table, right. So here, so I'll start the first here. This is what I want. Right. So this is what I want to insert. Right. So I just start this table. Just start this table. So this is the first row. First row. We call table row. Short form. This is TR. So this is called table header, TH. This is called next table header, TH, right? So no need to set the order. By default, it says this is the third table header. This is the last or the fourth table header, right? So now we'll define it, right? So first table row, TR, right? So at the same time, I include the closing tag, close TR. So within the first table row, I can insert table header, TH, right? Say registration number and closing table header, right? Next table header, TH, that is say biology, close TH. Next one, table header, physics, right? Close TH. Next one, next table header, that is chemistry. Then close it, right? So I save this, right? Then I'll open this, right? So in the mail folder, table one. So table headers are there, registration number, biology, physics, chemistry, right? Okay, next one is next row. Next row, that is next row, TR, right? And then we can define. So at the same time, I'll include the closing tag, right? And the data. We can insert the data. So table data, we call, these are not headers, just TD. TD means table data, right? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 table data, right? Just I insert 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So first one is AH1101. Here let's say 55. Here just say 65, right? 36 or whatever. Right? Okay, now you can see the data. But still some part is missing. What is that missing part of this table? Yes, with respect to this, what is the missing part? Hmm? In this table, what is the missing part? Yes, someone, what is the missing part? Yeah, it says the grid line. Actually, we call the board of the table. Board of the table is missing. So board is belong to the table. So here there is attribute, table attributes called border. We can set the width of the border. Let's say 1. Right? If you say 2, that is thicker. Now, this is okay. Now I set the width, table border. Similarly, I can have another row. Similarly, I can have another row. TR, same time we can insert the closing tag of the TR, right? So here we can insert the table data, right? Table data, right? So here, close the table data, right? So there are 4 tables data. So S002, right? 65, right? 85, like this, 39, right? Oh, like this, right? Now the second row has been complete. Is it okay? Have you got that? Did you understand how to insert table, right? So this is how we insert the table. Now this is the table, right? Yeah, I just remove this lights. Okay. Now this is how we insert the table. Have you got that? Did you understand? Yes or no? What about others? Please raise your hand. Did you understand? Okay. So now I want to modify this, right? So for example, so here I can align this table actually. I can align this table. Here there's attribute called align, right? Uh, align. Sorry. So alignment. Sorry. Rather than align, I can say that before that, just say what you call the width and height. We can set the width and height, right? As well as alignment is there, right? So we can use the align and we can set the before that we can use the uh, width and height, right? Width and height. So I think width is we can set the width and height in terms of what you call percentage. So for example, if you said width is 90%, right? So we can take the 90% width of the web browser like this, right? Width and height, right? So height is also, usually we set the width, right? Because so height is based on the number of records, right? Records, right? Basically we set uh, width, right? And alignment, right? Alignment, align. We can set the alignment, right? Uh, After that, we can set the alignment, right? Align, align. Uh, Default alignment is left. So if you want, we can set the center alignment. Now you can see, if you set, this is centered align. center the line. I just put this 90%, I say it's just 50%, then it will be clear, right? Center line, right? Or you can align right, right? Right the line, right? So likewise, we can align the table, right? Align the table, right? Just I said center. And there are some additional what you call attributes. So for example, now we can increase the space between these two cells, space between these two cells, right? Here, the space, right? So this is the default space, right? So we can change this space, right? So there's an attribute called cell space. Actually, this order of attribute is not important. So we can use the cell spacing in here, cell spacing, cell spacing. So default cell space is 1. You can set, say 5. Now you can see here more space between two different cells. Similarly, here the what you call the distance between the content and the border. Here now this is the content, so this is the border, right? Border. Here you can see, right? There is no space between the content and border, right? So we can insert that border and the content, right? So here we can set cell padding. Cell padding. Padding means the space between content and the border. Set 5. Set 5. Here. Now there's a space between border and content, right? So likewise, there are a number of attributes. There are a number of attributes for the table, right? So just for the time being, I'll use say I remove this sales padding, right? Okay, now this is my table. Now I want to do another thing. Is that so? I want to say insert another record, but that record that actually that student assume just for the time being, I copy the same record. Say the student. Actually, he absent for these two subjects. He absent for these two subjects, right? I just said absent, right? Okay. Now I want to what you call merge these two. Merge. That means combine these two and set absent for both. Have you got that? I want to join these two cells. Actually, the one particular box is called cell. Right? So I want to merge these two cells and set absent. Then I don't need to set absent twice, right? So how can I merge these two? How can I merge these two, right? Probably I just, first of all, I'll remove this and this, right? And here you can see only one absent. So that should be span. That should be span. Is it a span in row wise? Is it required to span row wise or column wise? It should be span to this side and put absent in here. Is it required to span in row wise or column wise? Who is PH 37? This me to okay. Now I want to span this particular cell into how many cells, whether it's row wise or column wise. Yes, I want to span, right? I want to merge these two. Means I want to span this one, extend this space, extend this cell into how many cells and whether it's row wise or column wise span. Yes, yes, one says column wise. Others, yeah, how many cells? How many cells to be spanned? Yes, how many cells? Yeah, two cells. So this is how we do that, right? So let's see how to do that. So here we can say this should be spanned in column wise. I'll say column span. How many cells? Two cells, two columns actually. Two columns should be spanned like this. Now you can see, right? So this is how we span, column span, right? Okay, I want to do another thing. So now I want another thing. I want to modify this like this, right? So I want to add another table header. I want to extend actually this table header like this. And here I want to merge these two cells and put registration number. Here I want to put the subjects. Topic is subjects. Subjects. Right? How can we do that? Right? So let's see. I'll take my source code, right, and go to the upward, right? So, right, this one. So actually, I don't need this one. Just remove, right? So, okay, I got the first row. Actually, I have to insert another row, table row at the top of the table and close the table row. So how many cells are needed? Two cells. Two cells, table header, first header, and so close this. Similarly, I have to insert another header. In the first header, that should be registration number. Registration number. This one should be subjects. Subjects. You save this and refresh. Now you can see that is there, right? That has been applied. Now, what I have to do, I have to span this subject into how many columns? Three columns. One, actually one, two, three. And I have to span this registration number into next row wise. How many rows? Two rows. And in here, I don't need this one, right? So let's see how to do that. So go to there. I span. Actually, I remove this one because I don't need two labels. So this should be span row wise. This is called row span. Span. How many rows? Two rows. Two rows. And here should be span column wise. Should be three columns, right? Then I refresh. Now you can see it has been applied, right? Okay. Have you got that? Did you understand? Did you understand? Raise your hand. Ah, okay. Okay. That's yeah. Wait. Okay. So that's about the tables. Tables, right? So we discussed the various things, right? So last one is table, right? Okay. So there are some other attributes as well, right? So we do those things in at the lecture, right? Okay. The last concept is forms. It just explain these forms, right? Form. So usually, when you fill a particular application, web form in website, there are forms, right? So usually forms are used to, these forms allow user to interact with web documents, right, which will provide some kind of a graphical user interface for data, right? So we can enter the data using form. So that's the main purpose, right? So collecting information to the web page, right, to the websites, we use web form. So when you take the web form, there are various input controllers. So for example, this is called text box. So this is called calendar. This is called radio buttons. This is called drop down list. This is called text area. So these are called checkboxes. Likewise, there are sometimes you can upload images, upload browse option. Right. Likewise, there are various options, right, which you can use. Right. So let's see how to create this kind of a form. Right. So I think we have another 10, 15 minutes. Right. Okay. Now, so in order to do that, there is a type called form. Again, I'll take basic structure of the web page, right? Then I save this one as say form one, right? Form one.html, right? Okay, now I am going to insert a form like this. Take student information to collect student information. To collect student information. Just for the time being, I'll insert a heading called say student information, right? And close the heading. Okay. In order to insert form, there's a tag called form. So if it is form, there are a number of forms in one web page. Then we can have an ID or a name for the form. Say student form, right? So when you submit this form, to submit this form, it should be captured by another web page. So we call that is action, right? So we have to submit this data into the another web page, right? So it should be a PHP web page. Say that web page is say test.php. There is a submission method. Right? There are two methods. So get and post. So for the time being, I use post. I'll explain what is the difference between the get and post, right? And here I use the for close tag. Okay, now let's take one by one. Right? So first, these are called actually labels. So this is label. Name is label. Date of birth label. Actually, we call these are field names. In table, these are the headers. So a label is defined using the label tag. Right? First one is name. Right? I close the label. Right? So for the first label, we can have an input controller called text box. So there's tag called input. Then we have to define the type. Here the type is text. So if it is a input control, we have to set the name. Right? Name means the some kind of identity. Right? So here we put say student name. Right? Student name. Right? So by default that is empty. I'll set empty. Right? So let's open this form. So this is the form. Now you can see this is my form. Right? So this is the source code. Right? So keep here. So this is source code. This is the form. So actually, this form should consist with finally or the bottom of the form there should be a button to submit and reset. So I'll input those. I insert those two buttons. So those types are the one is submit button. So you have seen that, right? So here this submit button and the reset button. So the button name is say submit. First one is say submit, right? So here we can set the value. So we can set the value. Value means the label. Just I say submit, right? Similarly, I can insert another button that is called say reset. This is for cancel values. The value is say just say reset or cancel, right? Any value, right? Any value can be set here. Right? Submit and cancel, right? So after the name, we can set another label. So these two buttons should be there. Another label. Let's say which is set say date of birth label. That is date of birth, right? So I said this one as another label, right? So here input, input type. Now I'm going to insert a date, no? Date. Then input type is date. Here we can set another identity that is say DOB, student date of birth, right? So there is no default value, right? So again, the value is empty, right? So just say, now you can see date of birth, right? So after the first label, right? After the name, so we can break this tag, break. Then it will be moved to the next line, simple, right? So after this one, we can have a break tag, right? Before the these two buttons, we can have a break tag like this, right? So now this is a text type is text. Next one is date, right? So you can see. And next one is yeah, gender. So that is radio buttons, right? So label gender, right? Label. So in that case, we have two different values, male and female, right? So here I'll set say male. For the male, I have one particular button, input type. That is what we call radio button, radio. Then value. So once the user said this one, we can set M or male, right? So the default value is 0 or default value is none, right? Next one is female. So I just copy the same one. Next one is just say female, female, female. Input type is radio. Again, here, once they select this, value is female, right? Here we have to set the value as well as name. The type is radio name. So if you set the name as say gender, let's see, say I'll set gender, and here also gender, because the thing is, so once one particular student, we can set value for either male or female. So that's why we use same name for the two different, to both radio ones. So let's see. Before that, we have to break this now. We have to break. After one particular field, we can break. So one, right now, we can select either male or female. So if you use two different names for these two, right, then that means two different name means they can have two different value, which means now they can select, or the user can select male, both male and female. That is contradiction, right? Right? Because there are two names. So if you set one name for, or one name value for both, then we can set only one, because one particular variable name or one particular name we can have at most one value, right? So this is why we use one name for both options, because these two, from these two we have to select only one. Right? So that's why we set one name for these two, right? Okay. So that's about the gender. And next one is drop down list the country, right? So for example, in my case, I use this say year, right? So label. So for the time in, just say year, right? Year label. So that is called uh, drop down list, right? So in other words, we call selection. Selection. There's a tag called selection. So from this, I'll select the year in which year, right? So here the selection should be close. Select, select, right? So here we can have a number of options. Number of options. I'll set option, option, right? So here we can close the option, right? So first option is say we can say year one, right? So once the user select this, we can set a value. Say we can set say one or year one. Similarly, we can set other values as well, right? So this is year one, two, three, four, right? So this is the second year. The once you select this one, we can say second year, right? The label is year two. So once select this one, we can say year three. So this is the third one, right? So likewise, we can set the here we can set year one, two, or four, right? So here we can set the label as well as values, right? Like this, right? So here we can break, right? So break like this. So likewise, we can insert the drop-down list, right? So that's about the drop-down list and checkboxes and address areas, right? So let's see how to insert those two as well, right? So here we can insert another text box, but here this is not only text box, this is area. We have an option called text area. Here we have the checkboxes and text area. I quickly insert these two, right? Uh, Text box and text area, right? So after the break tag, here we have to break. So after the option, we can break this, right? Uh, Here the text area, sorry. So we can insert the text area, then here we can label them uh, address, right? Address. And here we can uh, come close it, right? Text area like this, right? Here we can have a label. So the label is address, label, label, right? address, and name is also address, right? Yeah, like this address. And next one is uh, final one is say checkboxes, right? So in order to insert checkbox, again, I use a hobby, that is a label. Just quickly copy this, right? After break this, I just insert, uh, yeah, this is hobby, right? So here we can insert the checkbox, checkbox, right? Input type is checkbox, and here we can set the value, say football, right? So input type and the value. So once the user select this, we can say this is football, right? And we can insert another checkbox. Say next one is say call say riding, right? Say checkbox value is riding. Here we can set two different names, right? Because user should be able to select either this or this, right? So this is say hobby one, then next one can be hobby two. So if you select one particular name, should user user can select only one. But types of hobby, the user should be able to select uh, all the hobbies like this. But in here, user should be able to select only one option. So that's why here we use two different names. Here we use one name. So that is the difference. Okay, so that's how we create forms, right? Next time, let's see how to align this. So here, that those fields should be aligned like this. Actually, we can use the table for that. You can try for that, right? You can use table for align these things, right? So we can use table. So here there is no alignment. So we can align like this, right? And controllers can be placed in here like this, right? Okay, we can use table for that, right? Here we can see name and the controllers, right? So likewise, we can align this, right? We can align like this, right? Here there is no alignment. Okay, so I stop here. Have you got these things? Did you understand? Yes or no? Then I expect you got this. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, I'll upload this recordings to the Moodle so that then you will be able to download this and uh, just you can clarify your doubts, right? Okay, my advice is you have to practice these things. I'll upload this and you have to practice these some examples. Then you'll be able to what you call expert in this code, right? Okay, thank you very much. Bye. I stop here, right? Thank you.